Azeroth has been dominated. Icecrown, Ulduar, and the last Titan, we must delete Northrend. And Illidan knew? What is this all about? What is this? Northrend we know is going to be front and center in the last Titan, which means we're probably going to start to get a taste of Northrend towards the end of Midnight. At least some storylines that are going to lead us there. Northrend, honestly, one of my favorite zones. Grizzly, one of my favorite continents. Grizzly Hills, obviously a fan favorite of zones. So what are they going to do with Northrend? What's the importance of it? We know there's a lot of Titan activity up there, and the last Titan obviously is going to be very Titan focused. So there's lore reasons to go there. But let's find out exactly how deep the lore goes here from Zaxxas.
Icecrown, a monument to our suffering because it's part of the world's crown. And today, we need to discuss the most diabolical, glaring fact hidden in plain sight, that Northrend is no simple polar continent. It is a literal planet-sized helm of domination on Azeroth herself.
What?
And we must remove it. You could think of the continent as a giant gnomish mind control cap strapped to the world soul's brain. Where the helm of domination bound a king, the icy crown of Northrend binds a goddess. The goal here today isn't merely speculation, it's hindsight, going back as far as Warcraft 3.
Ooh.
And to understand this clearly and see the clues laid out for the truth of Northrend, we have to discuss the Forge of Wills in Ulduar, the Crown of Wills crafted by the Primus.
Oh god, some Shadowlands lore. We're about to go fucking deep as shit. Oh no.
The Forge of Souls beneath Icecrown, and the very origins of domination. Let's begin.
Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm excited for this.
Did you know that Ulduar is already admitted to be a machine indoctrinating the world soul? That's right. Chronicle Volume 1 tells us that Ulduar was built in part to imprison Yogg-Saron.
Right.
But once the old god was chained, the complex was expanded to serve a new purpose. As a portion of the Manifold, the Titan Keepers installed at least 2 great forges into the earthen crust of Azeroth, known as the World Forges. Uldum in the south, designated Forge of Origination, and Ulduar in the north, designated the Forge of Wills. We're told that the primary function of the Forge of Wills was, and I quote, to shape the world soul's budding sentience. Shaping sentience? Keep that in mind as we continue, as it's something important we'll circle back to when we discuss the namesake of the Forge of Wills.
So and interesting, these 2 forged names already, you can tell they almost play like an opposite and equal kind of naming structure. Is the Forge of Origination really for re-origination? You know, it sounds like something that creates life, but in fact it's meant to destroy life. Right? Re-origination on Azeroth means wiping out everything on the surface of the planet. Literally wiping it clean of all life. So as positive as re-origination could sound, it's actually a negative. And then the Forge of Wills sounds like it's actually meant to take away free will. Or to shape it in a way where it's seen, you think it's free will, but it's not. It's actually been manipulated. So these Titan lies, man. Even their naming structure's a lie.
The Titans even used Azeroth's sentience and will as a battery, harnessing the Forge to gift their new Titan-forged armies with consciousness and souls. Though Ulduar as the main base of operations rests in the Storm Peaks, we have seen that there is a vast underlying Titan construction that reaches under and across the breadth of the continent. From the Nexus and Sholazar Basin in the west, to the earthen tunnels and Titan statues beneath Grizzly Hills and Howling Fjord in the east.
Oh man, I love Howling Fjord.
With Temple in the middle, Titanic influence connects it all. Northrend isn't just dotted with Titan machines, it is a Titan machine. A continental engine built to shape the consciousness of the world itself. And it raises the question, how connected are the depths of Icecrown Glacier to the greater Manifold? In Wrath of the Lich King, we fought through the Forge of Souls beneath Icecrown's citadel.
Correct.
But Shadowlands revealed its true purpose. That the Forge of Souls was instrumental in siphoning the essence of the World Soul to a place beyond Zereth Mortis and the Realms of Death through a machine of origination in a place known as the Heart of Eternity.
Right.
This is where the Jailer attempted to re-originate the Maker's flawed design and bring the cosmos under his domination. If the Scourge and then...
why we still... The thing about the Jailer is he could have been cool, right? There's some interesting notes there. It's almost like a Thanos-esque, like, oh, this world is broken and I'm going to remake it in a way where it's better. Better for everybody. Under his rule, maybe, in his opinion, would have been better. But then he talks about at the very end, when he's about to die, that a cosmos divided will not survive what is to come. And forever that line has been there sitting. Now, maybe, was he talking about Demancius? Was he talking about the Void? Was he talking about the Titans? We don't know. Because like many storylines for the Jailer, they were left open-ended with just some fucking one-liners dropped by him and no real fleshing out of his actual motivations or story. So the whole thing...
Servant,
Ray, thank you for the follow, man.
To destroy.
Welcome to our Scourge. A misunderstood villain isn't a good villain at the end of the day. There's some mysteriousness you can have to a villain for sure, maybe with his origin story and shit, but you got to know his motivations. And the Jailer's motivations were always kind of just weird and broken. So I don't know if they're going to finish out that stuff in The Last Titan. We're going to go back north. Maybe we'll realize what the Jailer was talking about, and then in hindsight, he'll be a little bit of a cooler villain. But for now, all this open-ended bullshit just always made it feel like, gosh, I mean, what the hell? What was this guy up to? We don't know, so we'll just forget about him.
Nathrazim, who constructed Icecrown and the Forge of Souls, are
The
capable of
Nathrazim.
connecting
Now,
their
these guys are
machines
cool.
to the Heart of Eternity. What would have stopped the Titans from doing so with their machines long before the Scourge? And this is where we need to talk about the nature and origins of domination. What if I propose to you that domination isn't exclusively a binding magic of the Shadowlands, but also a primary tool for the pantheon of order?
Yeah, I've always thought this ever since the relationship that we realized there was there between Amanthul and God, what's his name? The fucking Maldraxxus guy. I can't remember. I always forget his freaking name. Yeah, but he taught him domination magic, essentially. There was an exchange, the Primus. Yes, thank you. That whole exchange between those two of knowledge, the ability to kind of dip into time and see what's going on. The Primus kind of gained that, his ability to win on the battlefield because he can see into the future a little bit, right? A very Amanthul-esque skill. And then domination magic from the Primus taught to Amanthul. And of course, Amanthul would love that because what better way to create order in the universe than to just mindfully dominate everything and tell it what to do? Yeah, that whole thing is gonna... all these ruins all over everything, all over the place in Azeroth, all these old ruins that have runic shit written on them, all that stuff's gonna come to the forefront for sure in The Last Titan.
In Shadowlands, we learn of the Primus and his mastery over this runic
I could have
magic.
waited 2 seconds and
But
got his
because
name.
patterns echo in this universe, we have to take a deeper look. In the ever-increasingly canonized Warcraft 3 RPG manual, Shadows and Light, the only beings in the entire setting who have the exact spell named Domination are the Titans.
Oh.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Ooh.
The original text reveals that the Titans are uniquely given the spell described as, and I quote, "At will, as a standard action, a Titan can crush the will of his favored enemy."
Damn, look at that. I mean, yeah, what is fucking domination other than taking away someone's will, crushing their will? I mean, isn't that what they were doing with the Earthen, basically with that whole, like, reset of their mind that they were always doing, right? They were taking away their free will, essentially. They were taking away everything they learned and resetting them back to base will format, you know? That's what they were doing every single time. And when they didn't do that, they would become Thragar, essentially. They get to such a level of free will. Dan, thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge. They get to such a high level of intellect and free will that they kind of break free from what was originally their creation, which was basically just to work as slaves, just to do the bidding of the Titans. So that reset was necessary always to kind of reset them to their default, which is just like slave labor. That's all they were. Yeah, so crushing the will of, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Domination from the Titans.
Sargeras used it to bind demons, and the Titans used it to order the dragonflights, the
Right.
Earthen, and ultimately Azeroth. Because, my friends, order is just domination with a better PR team. One shapes your will.
I don't pre-watch this shit, but I swear to God, it's poetic how this happens sometimes. Literally, like he just said, it's like a rebranding of domination and order. They're the same thing. They're just a word that sounds better. I literally just said that with the forges, right? Reorigination sounds better than fucking destruction or wiping out of everything on the planet. You call it reorigination, sounds better, right? Or the forge of wills, which is actually something meant to dominate your will. Right? Instead of calling it the Forge of Domination, you call it the Forge of Wills. There you go. Sounds better. They got a great PR team, the Titans. They do.
And the other one crushes it. But the result is the same. Compliance, servitude, binding. And to find the key between these normally conflicting forces,
Baby
it's
freezing.
time we tackle the central theme in all of this: will.
Will. Smith.
The will of Azeroth, the Forge of Wills, the Crown of Wills, and the unyielding...
I call it the Tiara of Wills because calling that a crown is it's a bullshit. The Helm of Domination is what that thing replaced, and I still can't get over it. I mean, how did the art team not come up with something better than the fucking Tiara of Wills? Jesus Christ.
will of characters like Anduin and Zoval are all pointing to a major revelation. One that is expanded upon in the Sylvanas novel, that compared to every other world that he judged as the arbiter, no races had the superior willpower possessed by those who had came to live on Azeroth. Azeroth's inhabitants have wills that are nigh unbreakable, and this stems from the world soul itself, as seen when we defeat Zoval. But remember, we only did so as a result of the Primus crafting a new tool for us, a crown. We aided the Primus in studying the shattered helm of domination and reforged it into the Crown of Wills, a tool to resist domination. But back to the Titans, they did the opposite. They installed the Forge of Wills in Ulduar and intended to use it as a forge of domination.
Right.
A mechanical crown to shape the world soul's budding sentience. The soft way of saying brainwashing, programming. Azeroth has been bound, imprisoned, and pray, hero, that she has not yet been dominated by the Forge of Wills, embedded in the crown of the world.
Shit.
Our precious world soul, dreaming away and sleeping, if kept in subjugation by this will-shaping machine strapped to her head, will continue to serve an eternity of imprisonment. A broken will, a tool for the forces of order, forged into a loom of indiscriminate fates.
Yeah, so there. I mean, I'm guessing that Xal'atath knows this shit is happening in some way, shape, or form. She must know, obviously, of the world soul of Azeroth. It's brought up all the time in the War Within expansion, and what the Titans' plan is for it. Now, what her plan would be, equal and opposite to that, I'm still trying to think about it. I've talked about the whole theory that I think maybe Xal'atath wants to do something or absorb the world soul in some way to become immortal like a Titan, because her whole thing is running away from mortality. We know that. Like, everything she does now since that last cinematic we got from her is to become immortal, to live forever, to survive. So how do you survive? Well, maybe becoming immortal is a good way to survive. So what her plan is for the world soul, I don't think it's a good thing. But it's clearly opposite of whatever the fuck the Titans want to do, which is like dominate the shit out of the world soul and make it, make a will, basically, a slave mentality to their own. They don't want it to have a free will, really. What if Sargeras was right all along and the Titan Order are the bad guys. So I mean, Sargeras still thinks that, I'm sure. And Sargeras was right in a few things, right? Maybe his methods weren't right, leading a demon army to just freaking chop planets in half. Maybe not the best strategy. I mean, it's the most efficient strategy, probably. But Sargeras, I think, is going to play a role going forward still. No doubt. His theories on the Void and everything proved to be true, right? His way of ridding the galaxy of Void influence, it was working. It was working. So we'll see what Sargeras' role is going forward. Maybe pure stasis, worse than whatever the Void offers. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Either way, you got two forces pulling at the World Soul. You got the Order of the Titans and the fucking chaos of the Void. Which side's going to win? I think there's some sort of balance to be struck, and that's where Azeroth's going to show up.
So, what could we possibly do to stop it? If the Titans...
I mean, the denizens of Azeroth almost are a balance between that already, right? We are a creation of the Titan that was given the curse of flesh from the old gods. So we're both. We have Titan origins and old god origins, thus giving us free will. That's really what it's all about. And that's why I think we're the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Why we've defeated so many things that shouldn't be defeatable by such little mortal beings, right? It's like we got the best of both worlds. We got the Titan side of things, and then we got the curse of flesh side of things. So we're these powerful denizens with free will, doing whatever the fuck we want. It's been a winning formula for us for sure, and it seems unique to all of the galaxy, all the planets out there. We seem to be very unique in that.
prize is guaranteed by the fate of an entire continent, then we must pry it from their grasp. I predict that in The Last Titan, the machinations of Iridikron, Xalatath, or worst-case scenario, the Titans themselves, will open the expansion with a monumental, epic moment, the upheaval of Northrend.
Oh, shit.
That crown of ice and the forge of wills within must be removed. And our venture to these wintry lands in The Last Titan will be focused on the battle for freeing Azeroth's will. The continent of Northrend will be fractured, uprooted like Outland, lifted into the astral plane outside of time with the...
So we got a floating, outlandish version of Northrend. That would be an interesting one.
earth-shaken regions held together by the vast
It's a really
Titan
cool map concept he
installations
made.
below. And for those thinking, this sounds too crazy, remember, we've almost seen this happen before.
True.
Back in the Frozen Throne, Illidan's storm rage claimed the Eye of Sargeras, and from the ruins of Dalaran, he wove a spell to physically shatter the tectonic plate of Northrend itself.
Ooh. I didn't know about this example. When he said that, I thought he was talking about the jailer using the mechanism maybe to uproot Northrend. But damn, I had no idea about this.
Was such an extreme truly to take out one king? Or did his efforts have a greater goal? Now Furion stopped him, but what if Illidan was right? What if he wasn't just destroying a continent, but trying to pry the crown off of Azeroth with a Titan-forged crowbar?
Shit.
We know the Titans are returning. We will uncover a vast conspiracy, and it all goes down at Northrend.
Iridikron knows all this shit too. He does. I saw him in the last image there. He knows some shit going down in Northrend, and he's just been waiting, right? And one thing about Iridikron, he's clearly very smart. One of the smartest bosses we've ever fought against because we haven't fought against him directly. He knows. And he tried to warn Farak about it. He tried to tell his siblings, like, don't challenge these people. As powerful as we are, for some reason, these guys always fucking win. Don't challenge them. So Ridikron's played his cards perfectly. Better than any endgame boss we've seen, where he's really decided to not fight us, face to face. He's got a goal in mind. And his to get to his goal, he's got to survive. And challenging us is going to mess that up for him. So he's done his thing, played his role, and now he's just chilling, waiting for the moment to strike. And I'm really interested to see when that moment's going to be for him.
Iridikron is just waiting
So far,
for
Xal'atath's
this,
a close
and he
second. She
spoke
is.
to the gravity of the situation, asking
Oh,
us.
I don't pre-watch this shit. I swear to God, guys. I can't. The allegations are just going to continue. I spoke about Iridikron because he had an image of him just a second ago, and it triggered my memories about all the shit he's doing. I didn't know he was about to talk about him right now. Okay, I promise.
Haven't you questioned why the Titans preserve this timeline?
Zaxxas does a good job of foreshadowing shit in his videos, for sure. Good job, Zach.
And part of the answer is that the Titans are banking on our compliance, our servitude, and our wills to fulfill the timeline where Azeroth is successfully conquered. The timeline where the crown is never removed, where Northrend stays put,
What
and
is
the
this?
Prime World Soul stays both a prisoner and prison while her will is harvested. Heroes, there is so much more to unpack here, but this is the core of it all. Northrend will be lifted, and only time will tell whether our world is set free and how it's done. But remember this one, I've just got a
man.
hunch. The only question left is who pulls the trigger and why. But let's save that for next time. Thank you for watching, Hero. My name is Zaxxas, and I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown of the themes presented in Northrend, Shadowlands, and what's to come
Interesting.
in The Last Titan.
Well, we know there's a sword in the planet, right? There's a sword in the planet. We do know that. What if that sword has, maybe the pull-out game of the sword has something to do with lifting up Northrend? Maybe somehow that's attached to what's going on here. I have no idea. We just know the sword's going to be relevant. Northrend's going to be relevant. The Titans are going to be relevant. Iridikron's going to be relevant again. And even Xal'atath, the odds are she's going to be there too. All these things coming together to form this final story of the World Soul Saga. I think Zaxxas did a really good job putting this shit together. Northrend acting as like a domination crown. Crazy interesting theory. Imagine this whole crown of domination, helm of domination, tiara of wills, all this shit, and it turns out Ice Crown itself is actually the ultimate crown of domination. That's a pretty crazy damn theory. Hey man, thanks for watching. Glad you enjoyed it. Love watching your... Thank you, Zaxxas, for making this great content, man. This thing was awesome. Great video from Zaxxas. I'll link it in the chat. You guys check it out. Definitely give the man some love and some likes. Sword? What sword? Yeah, I know, right? That question's going to get answered soon. We'll see. Nice video overall from Zaxxas.